What is up? What is up, chat? What's up, Fight Hype Live? What's up, boxing fans around the world? Here from the high-tech studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, the high-tech, elaborate Las Vegas studios. Less than about 12 hours removed from being at the T-Mobile last night. Where's my I don't even have my credential on me right now. But anyways, your boy is fresh off the fight. Slept for about 4 hours this morning. Couldn't get to bed until about 4:30. And was really looking forward to going live with everybody today. What a performance by Terence Crawford. What a lot for us to have to touch on today. Heart's a little heavy for Errol Spence because I don't like our culture in terms of kicking people when they're down, and social media, runs with people's misery at their expense and everything. And there was a lot of poetic justice last night. Don't get me wrong. This was a long time coming, what Crawford dished out. But I don't think it's right to kick a man while it's down. And these fighters, they are human, and it's not easy to lose in that fashion on that kind of stage before the world. So heart goes out to Errol Spence in defeat, who was never going to quit but was outclassed through 9 rounds by Terence Crawford, who his counterpunching and skills and just was better than Spence at every facet. And one thing that was a little surprising was how much better his jab was than Errol Spence. Spence was known as having one of the best jabs in boxing, and Crawford disarmed him with his own jab and never had to switch. He never had to fight orthodox. I thought Crawford would have to use his straight right hand out of the orthodox stance, and he started southpaw and never looked back. Just took the jab away by out-jabbing Spence. But anyway, chat, it is good to be joined this morning. I'm going to let everyone get in. Let me say what's up to some people. My man Charles N., how are you guys doing? Coda said, Sean, we are here. Just want to say I told y'all. DJ lost respect from me for not stopping the fight in round 7. Yes, we will get to that. I do agree that the fight should have been stopped earlier. And Derek James maybe showing a little bit too much pride when the writing was on the wall earlier than it got stopped. By the second knockdown, it was very clear there was no way Spence was going to get back in this fight. The steam on his punches were not the same. It was all bad for Errol Spence. And I think Derek James hoping that something would come out of a miracle would turn the fight around, when it was very clear that Spence didn't have what it took to turn the fight around at that point. So much, any snap that Errol might have had was taken out of him in the second round knockdown, and the fight was really over after that. But Derek James, being a little too proud for his fighter last night, probably should have stopped it sooner. But Derek, it's easy to criticize when they lose and easy to praise when they win. And Derek James is still an excellent trainer. But Bomac did his thing. Bomac won that battle just like Crawford won that battle in the ring. But so let me keep saying what's up to some people in the chat. Van Davis says, what's up, Sean? Some people in the chat saying DJ outcoached like 22 Sky. Sean Porter fought Crawford better. Well, that's a fact. Sean always had a... styles make fights, and Sean's athleticism with his feet and having better hand speed and athleticism than Spence is what gave Terence Crawford issues. And Sean knows how to fight a southpaw. He knows how to throw and land the straight right hand against a southpaw. So styles make fights. Even though Spence beat Sean head to head, Sean had a much better style for Terence Crawford because he's more athletic than Errol Spence, and he has that in and out movement with his feet to give Crawford some issues. And then Sean gets low with his head movement, and sometimes Bud would have to reach down with his counters, and that's why eventually when they fought in the 10th, he got him with the uppercut, adjusted to how Sean gets low to get underneath guys and get underneath shots. But yeah, good point. Boxing analyst said, Sean, I bet you could whoop Spence, man. Absolutely not. Spence would make me shit on myself with a body shot at some point sooner than later, but Terence Crawford did his thing. Michael Parks Jr. said, love you, Sean. Love you too, brother. Thank you, man. Molly Mall. What's up, Molly Mall? Molly Mall said he out-jabbed the jabber. Indeed he did. And this is the part where I say I told you so. I said Crawford for years and months on these lives. I said Crawford, and I said Crawford because of counterpunching, 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 counterpunching. And I said it a million times in my interviews. When I'd interview Errol Spence, I asked him about the counterpunching. When I interviewed Crawford, when I interviewed guys that sparred him, when I talked about this fight, the key word for me, the whole breakdown of this fight, why I knew Crawford was going to win this fight, is counterpunching. And counterpunching, very sophisticated stuff. Anybody can lead. Anybody can get off first. But it takes a real level of nuance and sophistication. It's an advanced level of craftsmanship to be able to counterpunch. It's very sophisticated, high-level stuff in boxing. And it's not to be underestimated when you face a great counterpuncher. And Crawford in round 2, when Spence reached with his jab and he got countered over the top with the 2-1, I knew it was a wrap from there on. And again, Crawford surprised me by out-jabbing Spence in round 1. I thought this fight was going to be more competitive early on. I did pick Crawford by knockout, and I did talk about how the counterpunching was going to do it, but I thought Spence would have the better jab. I thought he'd get off to a good start as Crawford needed time to adjust. But Crawford was hot from the start, and Crawford was razor sharp throughout and very intelligent in taking his time, because it was round 4 or 5. He got hit with an overhand left. Spence got to his body a little bit when Crawford decided to stay in there with him. And Crawford quickly went back to his jab and getting everything off the jab and picking Spence apart, because even though he was in complete control after the first knockdown, Spence is still a big, strong guy, and Crawford was so laser focused. There's some people who were watching the fight saying Crawford could have stopped him sooner. Crawford was maybe felt bad and was taking some mercy on Spence, and I don't think so. I just think at this level, you have to be razor sharp all the way through. And Crawford, his last couple fights, hasn't been razor sharp all the way through. That's why he was getting hit by Mean Machine. That's why he was getting hit by David Avenese. And Sean Porter, even on a good night, he's going to get to you. He's going to hit you. But all these guys were starting to touch Crawford. And that's why coming into fight week, even though I had him by knockout, I was worried about his age and his legs and the fact that he was getting hit more. But what he did, it reminded me of what Floyd Mayweather did against Canelo at almost the same age, at 36, where Floyd Mayweather was it looked like his legs were starting to slow down. He was pinned on the ropes against Miguel Cotto a lot, lost some rounds to Cotto. Even Victor Ortiz, who he knocked out in 4 rounds, he wasn't using a lot of bounce in his feet. He was stepping to Ortiz and not using a whole lot of lateral movement. Cotto, Victor Ortiz, Shane Mosley. The Shane Mosley fight, when Freddie Roach started questioning Floyd's legs. And then in Robert Guerrero, the fight before Canelo, he shows up with the legs. And then by Canelo, he turns back the clock all the way to his 20s and really delivers a vintage peak performance. And that's what Crawford did last night. At this stage, at a super fight level, he dialed it back. He turned back the clock a little bit and he went to HBO Crawford. He went HBO Crawford and was on his P's and Q's. His legs were great. Everything was great. And his body was so chiseled that he was in tremendous shape last night. That's by far the best frame he's ever brought at 147. And he somehow made what was supposed to be Leonard Hearns into Mayweather Gotti. So I got some super chats I got to get to before I forget. Forgive me. Molly Mall said, only one super chat today, Sean. My rent money is gone. You got it, Molly Mall. You didn't even have to give me that, brother. But much love to you, Molly Mall. So, much love to my man, Molly Mall, brother. Thank you for always joining the chat and for bringing the boxing knowledge. All my regulars bring the boxing knowledge. Dominic O said, any footage of what Crawford was saying to Charlo? I tried to ask Bernie Davis that after the fight, Team Crawford. He basically, in so many words, you're next. And that was a moment of savagery from Terence Crawford. Look, I've always said Jermell Charlo's a tougher fight for Crawford. He's bigger than Spence, and he's a better athlete than Spence. Better combination puncher, faster hands. He's 6 feet as opposed to 5'9", and he has better feet than Spence. He can move around the ring a lot. But all that said, I wouldn't be surprised if that shook Jermell Charlo to the core. This is his brother. This is his guy. He's very close with his stablemate. They have the same trainer. And legend, a lot of people speculate that Spence has gotten the better of Charlo in sparring over the years. he carries himself like the alpha in that camp. And so for this guy that may have been getting the better of you in sparring, and you think so highly of him, that's your brother, to be getting the shit kicked out of him in this brutal one-sided fight by Crawford, and then to look over at him and you're next, motherfucker, you little this and that, and da 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 da. And Crawford, Charlo with that crazy chip on his shoulder, he pipes up and starts barking at him. But I wouldn't be surprised if he got deep down, he got shaken up a little bit, because that's some heavy stuff, man. You're seeing like your brother get a beating, a real beatdown, and now he's looking over at you with your wife to your left, and he's talking that shit. I would love to see that fight, but I don't know about Charlo coming back down, like the Roy Jones thing when he went from heavyweight and had to get back down to light heavyweight. I don't know about Charlo fighting at 68 and then getting back down to 54. But I want to see Crawford in boots first and foremost. But if not that, Crawford and Charlo at 54 is great. But if Charlo loses handily to Canelo, that fight loses a little luster, even though it's undisputed versus undisputed. Let me get to these super chats. The one ALV, thank you, brother, for the super chat. Actually, I got to get to this $20 one before I forget. Adrian Wells, thank you so much, brother. Adrian Wells said, good afternoon. How are y'all doing? From the 2000s to 2023, where do you rank Terence, pound for pound? Congrats to all the ones that called it right. Tim Bradley, Antonio Tarver, James Toney, you, as in me, thank you, Adrian, and many others have said it for years about Terence. Yeah, and I'm here gloating that I picked the fight right, counterpunching, late round knockout. But the consensus amongst real boxing people was that Crawford was going to win this fight. I know he was just a slight favorite in Las Vegas, but Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, I did a prediction in the LA Times, and I think 8 out of 10 writers had Crawford winning the fight. So, for the most part, real boxing people knew Crawford was going to win. But what was so impressive is I don't think any of us expected that. I don't think any of us expected Mayweather Gotti. You know what I mean? So just tremendous by Terence Crawford. And then as for where he ranks pound for pound in the 2000s and 2023, he's not ahead of Manny or Floyd yet. Canelo still has a little bit better career than Crawford, but I think head-to-head, if they were the same size, I'd favor Crawford to win. Inoue is up there. Chocolatito's up there. Roy Jones, even though his prime was more the 90s than the 2000s, is up there. De La Hoya, Trinidad, even though by the mid-2000s they were done by 2004. I mean, Trinidad was done by 2001. Bernard Hopkins I still consider ahead of Crawford in the 2000s, oldest champion ever. But he's definitely top 10, and he's definitely top 10 pound for pound of the 2023s and since 2000. And I think it's fair to say that he's probably the best fighter in the post Floyd Mayweather era. I think so. Canelo Alvarez would dispute that. Canelo Alvarez would definitely dispute that. And I do think Canelo has probably still had a slightly better career in terms of accomplishments and those kinds of things. But head to head, if they were the same size, I'd give Crawford the edge. So if you make the statement that Crawford's the best fighter in boxing in the post-Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao era, I think that's a fair statement. If you think it's Canelo, that's a fair statement too. But yeah. Just and by the way, in terms of preference and pound for pound, and that's a fair statement. It's a fair statement if you think Inoue's the best pound for pound, and it's a fair statement if you think Crawford's a pound for pound. One guy's a 4-division champ, the other guy's a 3-division champ. One guy has been unified in this new division, the other guy's undisputed. Inoue was undisputed, Crawford was undisputed at 140. They practically are equal in number of world titles in divisions 1, so they're both undefeated. So it really kind of comes down to preference at that point. Who do you think would win head-to-head? And that's totally subjective because they never will fight head-to-head, but it's just a hypothetical. If they're both 147 pounds, who would you favor, Inoue or Crawford? It'd be a 50-50 fight. I think they're clearly the two best fighters in the world, and I don't split too many hairs about you say Crawford, I say Inoue, or I say Crawford and you say Inoue, whatever, however you got them, but they're the two best. I don't think there's either guy is really noticeably ahead of the other. But thank you, Adrian Wells. I got another one to get to by Acid Breaks. Said Spence looked like he came in at 170 pounds or so. He thought he could weight bully, and it backfired. It made him slow, got beat to the punch and countered. Bud stays pound for pound #1, the pay-per-view king, the face of boxing, the PBC king, and the legend, says Acid Breaks. Yeah, and Spence was sluggish. Weight did not play a role in this fight. Errol Spence was never going to beat Terence Crawford, but so weight didn't play a role. But Spence did not look himself last night either. He looked very sluggish. There was no snap for him. He did not. Errol Spence's peak was 2017 to 2019. Kell Brook, Carlos Ocampo, Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia. After Mikey Garcia, Spence made a lot of money from that fight, and his lifestyle choices began to change. People like to point to the car accident as the turning point, but I think even heading into the Sean Porter fight, Spence was making some lifestyle changes that weren't for his benefit in the ring, So I don't think we saw the best Errol Spence last night, but I think even the best Errol Spence, he would have never beaten Crawford. But he was a little bit of like a lamb led to slaughter between inactivity and between people gassing him up that his resume was so much more superior to Crawford, and that Crawford was just the product of top-ranked propaganda and matchmaking, and that lulled him into a false sense of reality that did him no favors last night. And in some ways, that made me feel bad for him, and just covering these guys as human beings, you don't kick a man while he's down, and all these guys are champions at the top level and have a lot to be proud of when it's all said and done. And it has to be heartbreaking to lose, no matter how much money you make, to lose in that fashion on that stage. It does have to be heartbreaking, and so part of my heart does go out to Spence in defeat, but there was poetic justice. It wasn't right what happened to Crawford. This is a sport. It's not supposed to be, you have to sign with this promoter in order to get this fight. No, I'm the best fighter in the division. He's the best fighter in this division, and it's a business, but it's a sport too. And morally, it's wrong to bogart and freeze a guy out until he comes and signs with you, and then you do what the fans want. That's got to change in boxing, and so there was some poetic karma and justice last night in the result. But my heart still goes out to Spence, who didn't need to make this fight. He did make this fight because of us, because he didn't want to hear us ridicule him. He didn't want to go through the rest of his career being told he ducked Terence Crawford. He had a fight, many believe, on the table with Keith Thurman at 154. Many people believe he was advised to do that. But he wanted to do what the fans wanted. He wanted to find out how great he really was, where he stacked up, and so he gave us what we got last night. Got to get to these other super chats. The one ALV says, Terence Bud Crawford has a real good chance to make unbelievable history by being the first ever 3-time undisputed after champion, and I believe he smokes Jermell Charlo, says the one ALV. Well, look, Charlo's problem is he's just not meant. He's a little bit of a head case, and I like Charlo a lot. I love boxer punchers. He actually has my favorite style. Charlo's a boxer puncher. Great power jab, speed. I've always said on these lives, Charlo's a tougher fight than Spence. He's bigger and more athletic, but he's a little bit of a head case sometimes, and Crawford can exploit that in and out of the ring. But physically, Charlo is much more of a challenge than Spence is. I agree that he beats Charlo. Charlo now has been too inactive. He's going up to 68. He's a sizable underdog against Canelo. And if he loses to Canelo, can he even get back down 14 pounds and be strong? Apparently, he said recently he plans on going back to 54 after this fight. And him and Crawford have so much history in the last couple of years talking shit to each other. That's the fight Crawford wants. Crawford in the post-fight press conference brought up Jermell. I might even be able to pull it up. I might pull that up in a second. Hold on, I don't want to miss all the love we're getting here. All the super chats are crazy right now today. I hope I won some people some money out there that are watching. But we got almost 3,000 people in here. But back to Crawford and Jermell Charlo. Crawford came in the post-fight. I'm going to pull this up, chat. Crawford came in the post-fight and unsolicited brought up Jermell Charlo's name, which tells me, yeah, that's the fight he wants next. Even though I want the Boots fight more than anything at 147. But 1 second here, chat, and let me pull up what the man had to say. All right. So this was Crawford after the fight. And here we go. Full post fight. All right. And then he unsolicitedly brings up Charlo. So clearly that tells you that's what he wants next. 3-time undisputed. Doing something like that would really... He's now a certified all-time great. But I still put guys like Floyd Mayweather and Sugar Ray Leonard ahead of him. But if he were to become 3-time undisputed, he really, really would become their equal. And not just an all-time great, but it would... I mean, right now, I think he's an all-time great, more on the tier of, like, Hearns and De La Hoya, and not quite Leonard and Mayweather and Hank Armstrong. Some people might consider him that, and that's not a crazy opinion, but... Yeah, I think 3-time undisputed, you would have to put him there with Roy and Floyd and Ali and those kind of guys. That it would take him to another tier. But let's see what he said.
Literally moments removed from your mesmerizing performance of what your way. This is a fight that everybody wanted to see. The whole world was talking about it, and we put on a great show. All right, this time I'm going to turn it over to questions for Terence Bud Crawford. If you have questions, raise your hand.
Hey, Rice Eater 79, he says that I told you Crawford would fight the whole fight southpaw, but it took every narrative Spence made. Bud took every narrative Spence made and inflicted it back on him. Harvey Doc saved Spence's life. Well, good thing Harvey Doc stopped the fight because I think Derek James should have stopped it sooner. And you could tell Crawford was taking all of his frustrations out on Spence. I think some of those punches were meant for, PBC and not just Spence himself. And he took out years of frustration out on Spence last night. Absolutely.
The whole world was talking about it, and we put on a great show. All right, this time I'm going to turn it over to questions for Terence Bud Crawford.
Seeing some Floyd and Bud comparisons going on. I'll talk about it in a minute.
Terence, Andres Evans, Sporting News. Just talk to Errol. He's saying hopes to get the rematch and he'd like to have the rematch.
So, my man Chikian Boxing, love you, brother. That's one of my brothers out here, man. Chikian Boxing, great kid, 16-year-old fan of the sport, loves boxing, knows boxing. I usually wouldn't touch on this, but I love Chikian, so I want to answer for him. Sean, what'd you think of Crawford calling out Ellie Sekbak? What I think is that I don't look forward or take solace in any of my colleagues getting, publicly bashed like that. Sometimes we butt heads being competitors. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But yeah, I don't take solace in that because it could happen to anyone. I could have been called a retard, and now I'm the reporter everyone's making a video laughing about. So yeah, God doesn't like ugly, and I don't want to wish that on nobody. So, but let's hear Crawford talk about Charlo right here.
54 pounds. Are you interested in moving up and play for the rematch? You guys have to be at 47.
Definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up the weight and challenging Charlo. So 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
One follow-up with, how did you pull off getting Eminem to walk you out tonight?
I don't know. I throw a rock in a haystack and he replied, and I told him to pull up, and it's like I'm there. He's one of my favorite fighters, and that showed a lot of support for me, and that showed what level I'm at in the boxing world.
Last question. Mayweather was considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world after his performance on Tuesday. Do you think he definitively put a stamp on you as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world after this performance?
Without a doubt, like I told everybody else before, the winner out of this fight is going to be #1 pound-for-pound, hands down. You got
just waiting for this Charlo quote.
#4 in the pound-for-pound. you got Terence Crawford out there, number one. So you got two fighters that's in the top 5 pound for pound ratings. How can they not be number 1 pound for pound?
Terence, keep fighting from BoxingScene.com. Congratulations.
Hey, look easy in the ring, but these fights are never easy. These fights are very extreme. Things that was different in this fight for just this one moment, so it's never easy.
He wasn't going to be able to do anything with him tonight.
Well, the first round, he's
Just waiting for this Charlo quote. I'm trying to remember where it was.
I always want to pay homage to the fighters that came before. They ain't my job to put me good. I want to
I mean, maybe it was on another video we titled, but yeah, Charlo. He winds up bringing up Charlo without even being asked about him early in in his post fight. I'm just trying to remember at what point did he say it. Hold on. Damn it! I hate it when this happens. Can't quite find what I need here. This might be better quality. Let me see. Yeah, don't need to see a rematch. Absolutely not.
They went ahead and put it all. It's like a breath of fresh air that I get to breathe.
Oops, my fault, chat. Alright, if I can't find this quote in the next 2 minutes, we'll call it a wrap on trying to find it. But.
Now, you're at the top of the heap and you're looking like a retarded ass dude over here.
Mayweather era, yeah, era. Where do you rank yourself?
Power. I feel so. It's never easy.
At which point you were...
Last question.
I don't know. It was just...
I can't find it right now, chat. Forgive me. Forgive me. It was a long day. It's been a long week. I can't recall where in the... But he said... He did mention Charlo's name. He jawed over at him, and it just makes sense. Look, me personally, I want to see Boots. I think Boots has a real chance. Crawford is the favorite. I'd have to give the edge to Crawford because of that vast experience gap. And if he shows up on his P's and Q's like he did last night, he's smarter than Boots right now in their careers, as he should be. Almost 10 years, more experienced, and then he's a little bit better on defense than Boots, whose chin isn't always tucked. And Boots gets a little too cute defensively. Sometimes all he needs to do is just catch, and he wants to do some flashy move on the inside in the pocket. But I think Boots is just as fast as Crawford. I think he actually punches just as hard, maybe even a little harder than Crawford. He's a more natural welterweight than Crawford. Ennis and Crawford is what people thought Crawford and Spence was going to be. Ennis and Crawford, along with Canelo and Benavidez. Canelo, Benavidez, Fury, Usyk, Bivol, Beterbiev, and Crawford, Ennis, to me, and Tank against Shakur Stevenson are the best fights in boxing right now. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez at 140 is pretty good too. But I would say those are the very best fights that can be made in boxing. Crawford and Jermell at 54 is great, but Jermell, if he loses to Canelo, it's going to lose some luster, even if it is undisputed versus undisputed. But if you're Terence Crawford, you're not worried about Boots. He doesn't bring anything to the table. The kid's not even a world champion. He hasn't fought anybody, relatively speaking, at the elite level. But I know boxing. I know you guys know boxing. You know what's called the eye test. And Boots may have never swam in deep waters with big sharks yet. But I have a feeling if you throw that Philly boy in the ocean, he's going to come up swimming. So I would love to see that fight. But for Crawford, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Crawford, what makes sense is go and get Jermell and become 3-time undisputed, and that'll solidify him as, at that point people will start talking about top 10 pound for pound all time. But anyway, I see some people saying that, huge super chat. Thank you for that. Thank you, bro. I'm going to get to Floyd and Crawford in a minute because I just imagine that's a discussion that's being had. Dante Comedy, thank you, brother, for the super chat. Dante Comedy said, "You are fair. I hope that there are more people like you in this world. Please tell Canada, France, and the United States to give Haiti a chance and stop selecting corrupted politicians for their own benefits. Crawford finally gets his own due." Damn, well, shout out to you in Haiti, brother. I know you know that country has a crazy. I'm not a history buff, forgive me, but I know that country had a bloody fight for its independence. I believe. I'd have to look it up, but Haitians are some awesome people. My boy Ebert Tallis back in the day, shout out to Ebert, who I grew up with in middle school and some in high school, came from that Haitian family. I'll never forget us giving him a hard time when Jermaine Taylor beat Daniel Edouard on HBO in 05. But yeah, great family my boy Ebert came from. Shout out to the people of Haiti. And in terms of stop electing corrupted politicians, my brother, I'm with you, but we're fucked. Because whether you vote for a Republican or a Democrat, I hear you. We got to be a more informed public and make better decisions with our leaders. I completely agree with you, but I wouldn't hold our breath. Thank you for the super chat, brother. And shout out to Haiti. And yes, Crawford finally gets his due. And a super chat again from Fraud saying Benavidez Jr. gave Bud a better fight. Well, if we're being honest, everybody gave Bud a better fight. Mean Machine, Kaviaskis, Gamboa, Jose Benavidez, Sean Porter. Actually, the only guy who didn't put up as good a fight was probably Amir Khan, who didn't fight to win. Spence fought to win and never stopped taking chances, even when he knew the counter was coming, and he had no answers for it. But Spence, I say this with really the utmost respect, to where I almost don't even want to use the phrase ass whooping to take it the wrong way. But I really mean this from the bottom of my heart with the most respect. Errol Spence is a man's man. He took his ass whooping like a man. Like a man. And I respect that so much. And I respect him as a father so much. I like to be a great dad to my son. But Errol Spence once had his little boy at ringside at Barclays in Brooklyn. And he's at Rolly versus... I think he was at Rolly versus Tank, and this man strapped with 2 baby bottles. You know what a good father you gotta be to take a little toddler to a prize fight in Brooklyn at a Tank fight, and in the midst of all that hoopla, have your baby bottles strapped. And so, yeah, we're not talking down on guys when they lose on this channel, not on our lives, brother. And it's not pandering or ass kissing, it's humanity. You don't kick a man while he's down. So he gave us the fight we wanted, and he took it like a man. And huge props to Spence for showing up at the post fight. I've seen a number of fighters who took less punishment than Spence did not show up to their post fight, and he was actually advised to go to the hospital and not go to the post fight. But because he was a man's man, he wanted to face the media and face the people and take his loss like a man. And I 100% commend him for that. But yes, it was something, man. It was something. I mean, it was a blowout. It was one of the all-time. Roger France said, "Did this guy pick Spence and give no credit to Crawford? Man, you're a fool." Can someone tell Roger France that I picked Crawford by knockout and broke down the fight not perfectly, but I picked Crawford by knockout, and I told people for months and years that counterpunching. I talked to Esau Diegas, and Esau Diegas tells me on media day that he studies Juan Manuel Marquez, and Juan Manuel Marquez says Crawford's the best counterpuncher since him. And I told you guys I always thought there was a similarity between Crawford and Marquez. Get him out of here! Get him out of here! This is the I Told You So stream. Get the fuck out of here, hater. No, Roger, you could actually stick around and hate. It's more of a figure of speech, but get the fuck out of here! Get out of here! This is our day, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're strong. We're strong here on Sunday morning. Let's go. The chat will tell you. Sean Ben picked Crawford. Talk to him, Red. Talk to him. I didn't just pick him. I picked him by knockout. I didn't just pick him by knockout. I picked him by knockout because of counterpunching. I didn't just pick him by knockout. I broke down the tape for 2 hours after the media day. Told you. Anyway. But not the most professional attitude in the world by your boy. I don't think you could talk like that on ESPN after predicting a fight, right? It's not a good look, but hey, this is FightHype Live. We could keep it a little more fun. So, Orange said, "I'm not an Errol fan, but I felt hella bad for him." No, me too, really, and I did. I really did. I would give him a big hug and tell him I appreciate you for, the time you gave in the lead up to the fight, and got a lot of respect for you, champ. And I would say to him, they can't take away those 3 fucking belts in the trophy case. You were WBC, WBA, IBF champion, and no one can take that away, man. That's nothing to sneeze at. And honestly, Spence might want to, he's made a lot of money, and he's talked like a guy that's semi-retired for a couple years. When people want to talk boxing, Spence wants to talk business and money. And maybe he should consider retirement sooner than later. He took a lot of punishment last night. His body's been through a lot between the car accident and now this fight. He's made a lot of money. He loves his farm. He loves the simple life in the suburbs of Texas and his animals and his children. He's a great father. Guys used to fight until they got their brains beat in because they had to, because they didn't have the kind of money sometimes to walk away. Although some guys did have the money to walk away, but they didn't want to let go of that fame and that adrenaline rush of being a great fighter and all that comes with it. But, thinking about retirement sooner than later isn't the craziest thing in the world for Spence. But got another super chat to get to from Hope. Thank you so much, Hope. Said, I hate when people disrespect other fighters' resumes. Boxers and people need to respect other boxers so people new to boxing can be more inclined to watching fights. Bud respects everyone except Charlo, right? Charlo's a very disrespectful person. and so that's why if they ever fight, their fucking press conferences are going to be a blast. I can't wait to cover them if they fight at their press conferences. That's going to be fire. That's going to be fire. But yeah, it's not good to introduce fans. You just don't shit on fighters, man. You could say he was overrated if you want. You could talk about all his flaws. You could do your thing, but don't cross that line of where now you're just talking shit. That's how I feel. But it's a free country. And then another man. I gotta get to man. You guys are killing for today. You guys are blessing me. Another super chat from Molly Mall. Molly Mall, you said you only had 1 super chat in you, brother. Don't do that. You gotta save your money. Molly Mall, I never want to hear Cruz Tank rematch again. Well, I have bad news for you. I feel like you will hear about it again. Although some of my, I talk to people in the business, and I'm being told that Cruz is not the first option for Tank next. I'm hearing he's further down the list. So maybe some of that Chris Colbert stuff is true after all. We'll see. I think you do the Cruz rematch because the first fight was competitive. Cruz is Mexican. He can sell some pay-per-views with the Mexican fans. It was a competitive fight the first time. You're not going to fight Frank Martin, right? Because he's high. He's a risk without selling any tickets. Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney are not with PBC. So, rematch Cruz. I don't know. But I hear you, Molly Mall. He didn't look good last night. Cruz did. He looked flat. Although I thought split decision was ridiculous. And shout out to Giovanni Cabrera for not getting knocked out. I looked at him in round 1 with his chin up and his hands down, and I go, there's an inevitability to this. This guy's going to get caught at some point with his chin up, and it's going to be a brutal knockout. But the kid was tough. He was resilient, had a good chin, and his ranginess and length alone annoyed Isaac Cruz, even though I thought Cruz clearly won the fight. Damn, these super chats are coming in like crazy. Hold on. Adrian Wells, thank you for the super chat, brother. Said, big super chat. Thank you, man. I feel unworthy sometimes, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, says my man Adrian Wells. Errol will be better after this. This will wake him up and make him add to his game. I would love to see when Jermell beats Canelo after the fight, Terence comes in and challenges him. I mean, if Jermell pulls off that upset, I think you mentioned this last night after the fight, Adrian, 2-time undisputed versus 2-time undisputed would be insane. But I don't know if he's beating Canelo Alvarez in his first fight at 168, but that would be great. And then as for saying Errol will get better, I'm not convinced of that. He's 33 years old. And one of his gifts was getting down to 147 and being a big welterweight. Fighting 154-pounders where he won't have that same kind of physical advantage, that's a step back for him. That's not good. And he looked worse than ever last night, and he took a lot of punishment. That's the kind of fight that takes something out of you, and I think he kind of is what he is right now. And going up to 154, he won't be as physically imposing as he was at 147. Based on what I saw last night, I'd have to give the edge to a guy like Tim Tszyu at 154. Tim is younger, fresher, in his 20s, and he has more snap to his shots right now. There's no snap on Spence's shots. I hope he could get that back at 54. I'm not counting Errol Spence out, but I'm not convinced that Errol just regroups, goes up to 54, looks good as new, and gets off on the 54 pounders. I'm not convinced of that. Spence has to take a long break, and he just has to take a long break and get some rest and take it from there. But thank you, Adrian. SE, thank you for the super chat. Said, the clear trend I've noticed from the special fighters this year, Tank, Inoue, Crawford, is that they all have strong, fluid legs and footwork, quick, explosive counter-punching, and power. Yes, absolutely. All three of those guys can punch. All three of those guys can lead and counter, and all three of those guys are good with their feet. Absolutely. Problem for Davis, who I do think is special, but he doesn't throw as many punches as Inoue and Crawford, and he hasn't fought the level of opposition as Inoue and Crawford. So while Tank, the eye test says his talent and ability is of that caliber, he is one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. But he's got to get that work in, man. He's really a two-time champion at one. I mean, you could argue the only real belt he's won in his career was against Pedraza 6 years ago, the IBF, and he's beaten good fighters. Mario Barrios is very solid. Leo Santa Cruz was small, but a 4-division champ moving up. Isaac Cruz is a good fighter, a good lightweight. Ryan Garcia, very physically talented, but so inexperienced and in over his head, but still a good win. These are good wins, but they pale in comparison to what Spence or Crawford did last night and what Inoue's been doing to guys like Folan. So Tank's got the box office, but if he wants the critical reception, if he wants to be as great a fighter as Inoue and Davis and Crawford, he's got to start getting in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and those guys. So that's just the real. Let me see. Another super chat I almost missed. Hold on. Let me get back here. Anton G. Just thanks for the super chat. Anton G didn't have a question. He just dropped the super chat. Thank you, brother. The one ALV said, I'm still rocking with Errol till the wheels fall off. Good, man. And Errol Spence is going to need real fans and real supporters like that. I always get roasted for the awful tube TV in the back, which adds to the motif of the high-tech Las Vegas studio. But I will remind you guys, it's only there because it's a Sega Dreamcast. I'm gonna really take y'all back. Hold on. We even got the Sega Saturn. Some people, with my out of context Inoue take, try to make me the anti-Japan. I love Japan. Where's your Japanese exclusive only Sega Saturn at? Get out of my face with that. Hold on. But anyways, that's why that awful TV is behind me. It's to play old video games. They look like shit on the flat screen. You need the CRT. That's how that goes. Anyways, Orange said, also, side note, as a Mexican, Cruz has to be the most overrated fighter in the sport. He doesn't deserve any top guy. He's terrible. He only throws hooks. But Isaac Cruz, it would be nice if he even thought of using the jab a little bit more, to cut distance. But I think he was flat last night. Against a guy trying to survive. Just to give him, just to be a little fair to Cruz. He is one-dimensional. I mean, he's going to come forward and throw hooks. But when he throws those hooks, Orange, he's very good if you're in range at coming to the body with the right and then coming up top with the left hook. He's good at working his levels with those hooks. And one thing I do like about Isaac Cruz is this. A lot of fighters leave their chin up, and Cruz tucks that chin and get that little armadillo defense. And he's got good hand speed, although it wasn't as good as I'm used to from him last. He was a little flat last night, but he has some explosive hand speed at his range, at his distance. And he works his levels with the combinations to get that left hook in. So Cruz is solid. He's a good lightweight. I think Frank Martin beats him, Lomachenko, Stevenson, Haney, Davis. But I think he's like the 6th best lightweight, 6th or 7th best lightweight. Not bad. He's a good fighter. But thank you for the super chat, Orange. Good observations. Acid Breaks with the super chat says, is it fair to say Inoue is pound for pound number 2 based off Spence performance? It's fair to say Inoue is pound for pound number 1 if you feel that way. It's a matter of preference. Him and Crawford are so close in accomplishments and in skills and talent that it's kind of a thing of preference, honestly. If you got Crawford number 1, that's fine. I think that's something. Damn, hold on. I'll get it. What is it, Leo? We got Blastoise?
Look, you have water.
You got water in there?
Look.
What's up? He's got Blastoise with water.
Look.
What's it, a hydro pump?
Yeah.
What's he doing? Okay, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Yeah?
Hey, look.
Oh, he shot the water hydro pump. He did it. Anyways, I think it's kind of a matter of preference, They're very close. They're very neck and neck. You're not crazy if you got one guy over the other. Splitting hairs. Tiger, thank you for the super chat. Got a couple others to get to too. Tiger said, I feel sad for Spence. It's funny when a man is down, all these haters come popping up on social media. Why does boxing have so many haters? It's not just boxing, Tiger. It's the world. It's our culture. It's the world we live in. It's what social media has done to us. Nobody can fuck up. And if they fuck up, what's the point of even saying sorry? No one accepts your apology. No one lets you have a human moment. Everyone pretends they're all perfect. And, when you're doing good, everyone dick rides and wants to ride the wave. And then when you're down, everyone wants to make memes about you and clown you. And it's just it's an indictment of our culture, which has been affected by social media a lot in the last decade plus. So it's not just boxing. It's just where we're at. Yeah. And then I got a super chat from Maria C. How you doing, Maria? Thank you so much. Said, appreciate you, Sean. I wonder what all those folks who said Crawford looked old are thinking now. I wouldn't mind seeing Bud wreck Charlo, but it's boots I'm wanting most. I'm with you. I totally agree with the boots and Charlo thing. Crawford, saying he looked old, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. His legs were slowing down a little bit, and he was getting hit more heading into this fight. But you probably should have known he was going to dial it up at this level, get back on his P's and Q's. But to be fair, he did himself no favors, Maria, with growing, with the hair on fight week and the beard on fight week. He didn't do him favors, making him, some of the writers were joking with me. They thought he looked old, and I was like, yeah, like Ezekiel from the Bible, but because Ezekiel was probably black, but it's funny, how some people say Moses was black, so that's kind of a joke about that, how some of the Bible may or may not have been whitewashed. But anyways, that went left. But no, I mean, there was some sign. Like, it reminds me of Floyd heading into the Canelo fight a little bit. The Shane Mosley fight, the legs weren't there. The Victor Ortiz fight, the legs weren't really there. And the Miguel Cotto fight, the legs weren't really there. So you're starting to say, maybe Floyd's legs are starting to slow down. But then Robert Guerrero right before Canelo, and then Canelo, he dials it up. The legs are fresh. And then that's kind of what Crawford did. He dialed it up. He knew the level of opposition in the stage, and he brought his A++ game. So, but I'm with you. I want to see Boots even more than the Charlo fight. The Charlo fight does more for his legacy because it's potentially a 3-time undisputed thing. No one's ever done that. But the Boots fight, to me, is as good a fight that could be made in boxing. Even as unproven as Boots is. He's just that talented. Sir Nickington, thank you for the chat, man. Super chat says, legendary night. I was leaning towards seeing Bud fight Ennis next, but I need to see Crawford take out the Lions Den and become 3-time undisputed. Great stream today. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, the 3-time undisputed is the bigger accomplishment. It brings more to his legacy, but him and Boots at 47, man. My God. I was watching James Toney and Mike McCollum this week just to get in the spirit. And the way those two countered each other's counters and worked their jabs to the body and to the head and doubled it up, repeated. Go watch just 3 rounds of the first fight between James Toney and Mike McCollum. Do yourself a favor if you haven't seen it. I don't even want to lie. I didn't see that fight until a couple years ago, The way they doubled up their jab to the body and to the head and countered each other's counters in these like Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan like exchanges, You would get that kind of shit in Terence Crawford and Boots Ennis. Actually, that fight, people would be like Leonard Hearns because it's welterweight. Tony McCallum is a fight that would resemble Boots and Crawford in many ways. I would love to see that. I'd give boxing like a couple $1,000s of my own money to make it happen. If they were like, you, Sean, from FightHype, the only way this happens is if you give us $10,000 to help pay the fighters, I'd be like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Damn it, I'll do it. Orange with the super chat, thank you, brother, said, speaking of lightweight, what do you think of Tank versus Tio? Well, Orange, that would have to be at 40 now, 140. Tio can't make lightweight anymore. I think that's a 50-50 fight. I might even give the edge to Lopez. I know that sounds a little crazy. Tank's got the O. Lopez lost to George Kambosos, who Tank would knock out. But Lopez on his best night, he's a little bit bigger than Tank. He's a counterpuncher. And he matches the explosiveness and athleticism and speed. Davis might be a little faster. It's very close. To me, they're kind of similar. They're powerful, slick punchers that are naturally counterpunchers. Tank and Tio. At 35, I'd favor. Okay, I'll answer it like this, which is kind of a cop out because Tio can't even make 35. At 35, I'd give the edge to Tank. At 40, I might surprise you and give the edge to Teofimo Lopez. Longer arms than Davis, can match the speed and the athleticism. They both punch hard. That's a hell of a fight. Too bad we'll probably never see it. Is Inoue Goku and Crawford Beerus? That's a good one. Oof. I always think of Inoue as more like Vegeta. He's got more of that Vegeta swag than Goku. You know, Goku's a nice guy, likes to eat his food and happy-go-lucky. The idiot savant. Inoue's like Vegeta. He got like that pensive, prideful, super prideful attitude. Inoue's more like Vegeta, and Crawford is Piccolo, except if Piccolo was stronger than Vegeta or just as strong as Vegeta. Okay, Crawford is Piccolo after he fuses with Kami, and Inoue is Super Saiyan Vegeta around that same time. We'll do it like that. They were about even at that time, right, in the Cell Saga? So we'll do it like that. Crawford is Piccolo after fusing with Kami, and Inoue is Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta. We'll do it like that. Hold on here. Tank versus the one ALV. Thank you for the super chat. Said Tank versus Inoue in 2 to 5 years from now. Who do you got? That's kind of crazy because okay. Well, I want to start by prefacing with this. I think Inoue is going to become the third 6th division champion in men's boxing history. I know Amanda Serrano did it in females boxing, but only Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya have done 6 divisions. And I think Inoue is going to be the third guy. I think he's going to go through 122, 126, 130, and take care of his business. 135, you would think, is where he'll finally run into a dead end. But Inoue versus Tank, they're two big names. So 2 big names, casual fans get excited contemplating them against each other. And then Inoue's getting compared to Pacquiao, who started at 108 like Inoue did. And they're saying, and people are starting to think, Pacquiao carrying that power all the way up to 47 and even, 150 for Margarito for that one fight. And this kid's at 22. Who's to say he can't get at least to 35 like Pacquiao did? But Pacquiao had a long, slender frame. And Inoue's already more filled out at 22 than Pacquiao ever was at 22. Pacquiao looked very thin at 22, and Inoue's very filled out. But Inoue never has to go to 35 and fight a Tank Davis. I mean, he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I think he'll become the third 6th division champ. But if he ever fought Tank at 35 and could carry up his power, you never know. It might be a really interesting fight, but that's too many steps down the road, and I don't want to make it look like Inoue's got to go to 35 to prove something. He could never fight at 35, and who gives a shit? He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. But they are both 5'5". They are both 5'5", and we do have the precedents. We've seen it happen with Manny Pacquiao before, starting at 108 and getting all the way to 47. And I don't think anyone thinks Inoue could do that. I don't think anyone thinks Inoue can get to 47 or 54. But people are saying maybe 35 one day, and we'll see. We'll see. But let me see. So all right. After, man, we had about 3,000 people in this bitch. You guys are awesome. So Floyd and Crawford, because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I feel like that's probably some topic of discussion that's more. I mean, no one sent me like a super chat about it, so I'm kind of the one bringing it up. But first of all, that's a huge compliment to Crawford that people are considering him as a guy that maybe could have beaten Mayweather at 47. I mean, Mayweather is the best fighter of the last 20 years, so it's a huge compliment. Head to head, I'd have given that. Look, Floyd Mayweather would not have done to Errol Spence what Terence Crawford did tonight. He would not have dropped him 3 times and knocked him out in 9 rounds. Floyd would have probably pitched a shutout. 12-0, 120, 108. Do what Floyd does. So Crawford's a better puncher than Mayweather ever was at these weight classes. He's a better puncher than Mayweather ever was. I still would give the edge to Mayweather head-to-head for these reasons. His gifts, as gifted as Crawford is in speed of hand, foot, vision, reflexes, Floyd Mayweather's reflexes and hand and foot speed were on another plane from even Crawford. His reflexes are out of this world. The only guys that equal Floyd Mayweather's reflexes are a prime Roy Jones. I'm talking 168-pound Roy Jones. And Muhammad Ali, when he was Cassius Clay in the late 60s before the Vietnam draft, took 3 years away from him. That's about it. And Pernell Whitaker. But that's about it. And as fast as Crawford is, and as good as his reflexes and his foot speed is, Mayweather, it's not a matter of skill. It's not a matter of ring IQ. It's just a matter of God-given gifts. Mayweather's gifts were on a little bit of another plane from even Bud. Bud's a better puncher than him. That's a gift he has that Floyd does not. But Floyd's gifts and reflexes and hand and foot speed were even in a little bit higher dimension than Crawford. And Floyd would have won a decision, I think, against Crawford in a competitive fight. Floyd never fought someone like Crawford at welterweight that brings the full package he brings. Counter-punching, long, big key for Floyd. Crawford is like Floyd. He's 5'8", so he can be small on defense, but then he has these freakishly long arms of a man almost 6 feet tall, and that would have gave Mayweather a lot of issues, as well as the southpaw stance. It would have been a competitive fight, and but I would have given Mayweather the edge to win. I would have given Mayweather the nod to win that fight by decision, because it may not have been for especially casual fans the most exciting thing, but Floyd would have slowed that fight down and turned it into a pot shot fest rather than combinations and exchanges, and so that's just how I see it. Floyd lost to Jose Luis Ramirez. I think you mean Jose Luis Castillo. And I scored that first fight a draw, and then the second fight, people always said Floyd dominated the second fight with Castillo when that's not true. Go back and look at the scorecards. It was 116, 112, 115, 113. Castillo in the rematch gave Floyd one of the toughest fights of his career, but there's this narrative that he washed him in the rematch. That's not true. It was very competitive the second time. I think I scored the first fight between them 113, 113. There were some point deductions. So I scored Mayweather-Castillo 1, a draw, and then I scored Mayweather-Castillo 2, 116, 112 for Floyd. I think I remember Floyd won the first 4 rounds, then Castillo won the next 4 rounds, and then they were even heading into the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and Floyd did his thing, pulled away late and got that decision, but that was very competitive. But Jose Luis Castillo would have been a tough fight for Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford went 12 rounds with an aged Ray Beltran at lightweight. You know, Ray Beltran went 12 rounds with Crawford. So I think Jose Luis Castillo would have gave Crawford a tough fight at lightweight too. There's no shame in that. Castillo is underrated. Blind Faith, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Said, salute Sean, 2 times undisputed, pound for pound king. Bud Crawford, beautiful moment in history. Holy shit, he is the best. Ring Magazine lineal belt, and the Charlo's better run, says my man Blind Faith. Thank you, Blind Faith. Appreciate that, man. So yeah. Thank you so much, man. So, oof, man. So, what are we, an hour in? And I basically rattled. That was just that, right at the hour mark. I think I shot my bullets. Showtime boxing fans call everyone else casuals. Yeah, it can be annoying when people disagree with you and you just want to call them a casual. Was this the performance of the year, Sean? My man Chiquian. Yeah, it was. It has to. Yeah, even over Inoue over Fulton, because it was undisputed. It wasn't for unified. It was for undisputed. It's for all the marbles. Spence rated higher than Fulton, even though I was high on Fulton. I think Fulton's a real fight. I think he's a real champion. I don't think he was this weak champion. He's not nobody. Inoue just made him look like nobody, you know. But yeah, I'll give the edge to Crawford because Spence. A lot of people gave Spence a real chance at winning this fight. It was almost 50-50 at the odds. Inoue was a heavy favorite and was fighting at home in Japan against Fulton. I didn't think Crawford would be able to top it, but he equaled it, and then fighting Spence, who's rated higher than Fulton, people gave him much better chance of winning that fight. Yeah, Crawford gets performance of the year, so no doubt about it. Performance of the decade? Yeah. Probably the performance of the decade from Terence Crawford. Yep. Deluxe Recording said Spence was drained. Spence did not look himself. He did not look like the guy that fought Mikey Garcia, Carlos Ocampo, and Lamont Peterson, but weight or no weight, he was never going to beat Terence Crawford. Let me see. The Real Merc TV, thank you, brother, for the super chat, said, LOL, watch how many people are going to use Crawford on Undisputed now, Sean. By the way, good live. Thank you, brother. Thank you for enjoying the live. And actually, on that note, Real Merc TV, I will be one of those people that uses Bud on Undisputed now. Let me plug in the PlayStation controller and let's finish this the right way with some Undisputed with Terence Crawford. Hold on here. I don't want to mess things up and unplug things from my computer that should not be unplugged. Got it. Okay, it's working. I see a light go on. All right. Navarrete versus Valdez. Ooh, I tend to want to favor Valdez. My head, my watching tape, you say Valdez because Navarrete with that uppercut. I love his uppercut. It's off rhythm. Its timing is very hard to get down. He's got an uncanny timing with it, and he's heavy-handed. I love that uppercut from Navarrete. But you would think against a more compact puncher like Valdez, who is fast too, faster than Navarrete, that he could get to the right distance, and Navarrete could open up too far out with that uppercut and bang with the left hook, as Teddy Atlas said, bang with that left hook by Oscar Valdez. But wear and tear. He's 32, going on 33. Navarrete's 28. And Valdez can't stay out of a war. Every fight's a war. He takes punishment in every fight. So Navarrete, I think, is fresher and younger. So that, as much as I see that uppercut from too far out and the left hook in close, Navarrete's the fresher fighter. That could be the difference. And I'll be going down to Arizona to cover that fight. Javier Singh, thank you for the super chat, said Floyd beats Crawford. He always finds a way. I agree. It wouldn't have been the funnest to watch. He wouldn't have, exchanged with him and all that, but he would have popped shots, slowed the pace down, used his legs, and took advantage of being one of the few fighters that's ever lived to have a slight hand speed advantage over a guy like Crawford. Demetrius Scales, thank you for the super chat, brother. Demetrius Scales said, forget Jermell. Bud needs his money. Bud versus Canelo. Actually, you know what? Good point. Just in case anyone has a crazy idea about Bud and Canelo, I already asked Bud that ahead of this fight. Let me get to this. I actually asked Bud about just that, Demetrius. Terence Crawford, Canelo, FightHype. Let me see here. Let me see here. There we go. I already got you, Demetrius. I knew this could potentially be a thing people were interested in.
Coin flip in there. So, do you have heads or tails for the?
Discuss that.
It's a shield, and you have a glass shield.
You gonna see?
Here we go.
You gonna see?
Could he get it in the future?
Too little.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at.
He's talking about Tank.
47.
So, okay. What about everyone's talking about Errol fighting the winner of Canelo and Jermell. Could you ever do that? Is that too much weight, or?
What, 168? I
Yeah.
ain't going up there.
Right.
So you got Canelo winning then, right? Then,
If he fighting like 168.
Yeah, so there you go. That's Crawford saying 168? No. So, yeah, I hear you. It'd be a lot of money, but he knows, as great as he is, he knows his limitations. Credit to him for that. But thank you for the super chat, brother. And I got, but you heard Crawford. That's a no-go. King Crocodile versus Loma next. Blind Faith, thank you for the super chat. I think King Crocodile, you mean Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson versus Loma next. Bud Hall of Fame. Well, Bud's Hall of Fame. He was Hall of Fame after what he did at 140. You can't leave undisputed probably out of the Hall of Fame, even if you want to say it was Ndongo and all that. Where does Bud rank? I mean, he's all-time great. He's all-time great. I put him on a tier list of, not quite a Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins. I put him at the tier right below that with guys more like Thomas Hearns and Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad and guys of that caliber. That's where I put him right now. And then I know Shakur wants Lomachenko. That's the fight he wants next. I'm not sure Lomachenko wants to do that fight next, so we'll see. So let me see here. All right. So let's maybe get some undisputed in. Let's get some undisputed in. Here we go. Who did you originally pick when Pacquiao and Thurman were gonna fight, and what did you think of Thurman fighting Boots? I'm not gonna lie, I picked Thurman. I thought Thurman was gonna win that fight against Pacquiao. I thought Pacquiao at 40 years old, Thurman, even though he had some inactivity, even though he looked bad against Josecito Lopez, I thought Thurman was gonna get that, and that just shows you how great Pacquiao was. That was a beautiful night by Manny Pacquiao. I was covering, came out to Eye of the Tiger. And it was like he turned back the clock that night. It was like 2008 again. And then he drops Thurman off a right hook. And he does the Ali shuffle at the end of this first or second round. It was magical stuff by Manny Pacquiao. Kairos ASMR Show, thank you for the super chat. Said, is it realistic to think Inoue could fight Loma at 126 or 135? I suppose so. I think at 130 that fight, Loma's too old to get down to 26, but he keeps saying he can make 130. Yeah, it's not the craziest thing in the world. I think Inoue might be able to fight guys like Oscar Valdez and Lomachenko at 130, guys who started at 26, who are about his height, 5'5" or so, and guys that just aren't that big in their own weight classes as it is. Yeah, I don't think that's insane to think. It's just that he's at 22 right now. We know his next goal is Tapales. And then he's got to get to 26 and do his thing there. So I think we're a couple of steps away from the fantasy fights around those divisions. Loma, Valdez, Tank, and stuff like that. We still got a little bit of road to travel before we get there. Let's let the next year play out. and see where we are a year from now. But thank you for the super chat, brother. Let me see here. Ty Brown said, nobody's talking about Bud stacking, but complained about Inoue. Actually, I helped clear up a lot of that stacking stuff. I interviewed Mike Basil, Stitch Duran, Robert Garcia, and they all shut down stacking as playing a role in the fight. And they all explained that stacking happens in Nevada, and it happens in Nevada. That Canelo and Triple G both stacked their raps when they fought each other. So yeah, I saw some people on Twitter talking about Bud stacking, and the Inoue stuff was weak, you know, people trying to say his hand wraps would affect the fight when, you know, he was just going to win the fight because he's better. But yeah, I hear you, Ty Brown, but nothing to complain about either way, really, for Bud or Inoue. You know, they won both of their fights because they're just bad motherfuckers, not because they're hand wraps. You could give me brass knucks and it wouldn't have made a difference with them, you know. So they didn't win because of hand wraps, that's for sure. Pinche Manzana, thank you for the super chat, says, how do you see a healthy Virgil versus Spence at 154 in an all-Texas battle? I'd give the edge to Virgil. I mean, it's such a tough fight. It's a really tough one to call, Pinche Manzana, because Spence has never fought at 154, and neither has Virgil, and we don't even know what these guys got going forward. Spence took the kind of beating that will change you a lot more times than not for the rest of your career, and he's already 33. Virgil can't make it to a fight because of his health. His body keeps shutting down at him, trying to get down to 47. But to best answer your question, Virgil at 54, how they've been looking lately, I'd give the edge to Virgil. He's just a little snappier right now, almost 10 years younger. I'm not going to even get that deep with the X's and O's. He's snappier than Spence these days. There's just more snap on his shots. There's more speed. You don't think of Virgil Ortiz, you know, hands up, tough Mexican kid, so you don't think speed. He's got quicker hands than Errol Spence. He puts combinations together better at times than Errol Spence. He's a little faster than Errol Spence. I would actually give, I know it sounds like, wow, really? You're going to give a guy who's never fought for a world title the edge over a guy who was on the top 10 pound for pound the last year, the 3-belt champion at welterweight? I'm just calling it like I see it. Virgil's much younger and fresher, and I think he's just a little snappier these days with his shots. I would give the edge to Virgil. Henry Washington said, how the legs look, crying faces. Spence overreaching and getting countered in between shots was his downfall. And I think Henry's getting at, I kept asking a number of fighters, what about Bud's legs? What about Bud's legs? Because I was worried about his legs heading into this fight. It gave me some cause for concern in picking him to win. Because his legs he was getting, you know, David Avanesian hit him with that right hand in round 1, and Crawford's legs were sluggish. That shit would have missed by a mile last night with how sharp he was on his feet and on his P's and Q's. So, but they look great, Henry Washington. They look fantastic. They look better. They look. Actually, to answer your question, they weren't as spry and as bouncy as in the Jeff Horn days. He's more planted and settled in, less excessive movement. But the legs were on point. That's the best his legs looked in a long time. And even though it was the best they've looked in a long time, it wasn't the same. It wasn't how he used to use his legs when they were really fresh. He didn't use a whole lot of lateral movement. It was just stepping off to the side, half step back. It was beautiful. So yeah, they look great. Let me see here. Make sure I didn't miss nobody. No, I didn't. Oh, Ty Brown, thank you. Said, once tape gets wet, it becomes harder like a cast. Well, Stitch Duran was telling me that's what you want. You want to make it like a cast. And if the commission allows it, you know, it's on the commission. Ty Brown, that would be another discussion if, you know, that should be allowed in any commission and all that. But my point, Ty Brown, why I'm not going to harp on it too much, is it had no real bearing on either fight. Crawford and Inoue were just so much better than Spence and Fulton. So much better that it just didn't matter, you know. So So yeah, let's see. Let's see here. Let's get some undisputed in. It's only fitting. It's only fitting. You know, guys, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. You guys saw me in the live on Crawford's Media Day. I wasn't being biased. I was just calling a spade a spade. When Terence Crawford started burning out on the heavy bag to Hail Mary by Machiavelli Tupac, and then he was listening to Against All Odds for the Machiavelli album, and then he rapped all the lyrics to So Many Tears. I mean, we got the Tupac plaque right there, so you know, it was hard not to pop, as they say in wrestling, to pop for it. But when he started burning out to Hail Mary, I looked over at my partner Ron Goodall and a couple other media members, my guy Marcus Hayes with FightHype, and I looked over at them and I went, it's a wrap, bro. Like, Yella Beezy is not gonna be the dude listening to Pac, Yella Beezy. The energy, the frequency in the mind is different. And, you know, I when he was burning out to Hail Mary, I was like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He's not losing this fight. So, funny stuff. But not a Lil Wayne fan, though. He did lose me on that. Although he killed it with the Mr. Carter. That was an awesome. Yeah, the crowd in the palm of his hands. All right. But he was a little bit on his Against All Odds, like Pac last night. He stuck it to the business, not just Errol Spence. And one of the last guys I remember doing that was Bernard Hopkins, was able to stick it to the business of boxing when he would win some of his fights. Let me get this going here. I'm trying to get my bad, chat. I'm trying to set the game up. Let me see here. Where we at? Got it? Boom. We're good. Got it. You're cooking, Sean. Thank you, Podcast. You know, it's all about crop, but that's right, baby. You know what? For the record, before we get to Undisputed, for the record, I haven't picked a big fight wrong this year. We got Tank Ryan, Benavidez Plant, Haney Lomachenko, even though Lomachenko might have edged that, but I picked Haney. He got the win. Inoue Fulton. I picked Inoue. And now Crawford Spence. So we're undefeated on the big ones this year. I picked one fight I picked wrong this year. And remember this lesson, is that resume shit does not win fights. My gut knew O'Shaquie Foster was going to beat Ray Vargas. But then I went to BoxRec. I BoxRec'd it. So I made a rookie mistake. You know, if the tape will overpower the BoxRec. I go to BoxRec and I go, O'Shaquie Foster's went 12 rounds once, and outside of that, he never even fought in a 10-rounder, and he has 2 losses, and he hasn't fought anybody. How the hell is he even the WBC mandated guy? But then when I watched the tape, I saw this guy's good. This guy is a good boxer. He's going to frustrate. That style is going to be wrong for Vargas. But then at the last minute, the BoxRec got to me, and I edged it to Vargas in my prediction, and then O'Shaquie outboxed him. So outside of O'Shaquie Foster, Ray Vargas, your boy is undefeated this year. And I have to do that because if you haven't boxed professionally and you're trying to break down professional boxing, my man Sean Porter, he could pick 100 fights wrong, and you're still going to listen to him because he did it before. He has the credibility of being a world champion. I don't. I have to pick these fights correctly, or else I'm fucked. So, yes, I picked this right. I picked all the big fights right, and I got to say that. Defects1, thank you for the super chat. Said, Sean, you got to use a Retro Tink 5X Pro. It's a video upscaler that uses component cables and converts to play old systems on HD TVs via HDMI. Defects1, that costs a lot of money to get all that stuff, to get the scan lines on the screen and all. And I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, I got to see it in person, but I feel like no matter what you do, it's not going to look as good on a flat screen as it would on a tube. So I just keep this ugly piece of shit behind me to play old video games in my office. One day, just to be petty, I should show like the flat screen, big screens I have because I have to. There has to be people watching the stream who thinks that's actually the TV I use every day. I get hit back with a brick, I'm gonna be hesitant too, says Ty Brown. Oh, right. No, I hear you. Again, referencing the hand wraps. I hear you. What? Ty Brown is not happy with this tape. The hand, and again, Ty Brown doesn't sound like he's making a point for Inoue or Crawford. His point is just the style of stacking should be allowed in boxing. Seems to be Ty Brown's point. It's not really advocating for any one fighter. It's advocating for that point right there. So shout out Ty Brown, brother. All right, so let's go ahead and get some undisputed in, I suppose, right? Let's play with Terence Crawford. And goddamn it, since Bud won, we gonna smoke a little Bud. We gonna smoke a little Bud before we play undisputed. It's only right. You know what? Let me do this off. All right. Now we can get right. I need my PEDs. I don't play video games without smoking weed. I don't do that. I need my PEDs. It's not, I got in trouble for PED takes last 2 weeks. I'm a PED user when it comes to video games. Let's go. Top 6 video games ever? Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. If we're talking my personal list or objectively speaking, it's like the Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Mario World, Halo 3, shit like that. My personal list would be like Halo 3, NFL Blitz 99, NFL Blitz 2000, NBA Street Volume 2. I'm gonna go. I got some nerdy games in me too. Super Mario 3D World, Final Fantasy X, Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Dragon Ball Fighters, Fight Night Round 2, NFL 2K5, NBA 2K in its prime, 2K14, 15, 16, those days. Those are some of my favorite games ever. Conor Benn is cleared to fight again. Thoughts? I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know, Roy DeBoy. Like, I don't follow it. I see he pops positive. He's like, and I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised because look at his physique. And what was always suspicious about Conor Benn was that his jump in levels, beginning to climb the welterweight division, it wasn't so much because his craft was getting better. He was just becoming more explosive. And becoming more, you either, that's something you kind of got or don't. It's not something you harvest to the level of improvement he was getting.
I'm Todd Grisham. The crowd cannot wait to witness this.
I like Conor Benn.
If
he was on PEDs, I liked watching Conor Benn on PEDs. He's pretty good. Damn, we got to fight a Canelo who's 86 and 19.
Todd,
this will not be an easy fight, chat.
As per usual.
Why couldn't I get an easy one?
It's time for our tale of the tape. And here he is in the flesh. Terence Bud Crawford, perhaps the pound-for-pound king. 5'8" tall with a
perhaps. Ain't no perhaps no more. No, there's still a perhaps.
And here he is in the flesh. Terence Bud Crawford, one of the pound.
Orange Pill Nurse. Have you ever played Freedom Fighters for PS2? Best sleeper game. I am a true gamer, Orange Pill Nurse, and I never even heard of Freedom Fighters. While we're talking about PS2, though, I loved Onimusha, the Onimusha games. They need to remake an Onimusha game. Onimusha Warlords, Onimusha 2.
For 12 rounds of boxing. In the red corner, from
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Nebraska, here is an acclaimed 3-division champion of the...
Usually you don't need a weather report.
Here we go, guys.
Here we go for
Let's just switch southpaw from Jump Street. All right, chat. Got to take my time here. I'm fighting a guy with a good record.
They're both trying for a knockout.
And this connection is pretty trash.
Both both men step back for just a moment.
Oops. I didn't want to double it up that time.
Considering we're outside in this sold-out arena, it almost feels like the Roman Colosseum and two gladiators going at it.
Well, Todd, let me
Countered
explain
into the
to you.
body.
You're outside. Nobody can turn the temperature down. Nobody can turn the sun down. When that sun's beating on you, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're getting hit, when you're getting hurt, there's no cool
Good body
fan that's
shot.
dropping in there. This is
Eat
where
that jab, though.
it's real fighting. Fighter on fire.
Eat it again. Eat it again.
Some nice exchanges from both men in this round. And
Nah,
he misses
I
with the
didn't
left
reach that
uppercut.
time. Just stay with my
Perfectly
jab.
matched.
Don't reach.
Skill for skill, tap for
He wants to
tap.
stay on the
Now this
outside, he's not
fight
gonna
will
let
say,
that
you know
pass.
what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I got to respect both of them. More than happy.
Nice exchange here from both men. Missed him with that
Reach.
uppercut.
It's okay. He didn't get the counter on.
Got him with a clean right uppercut.
Got that body shot in. Come on, Canelo. You're supposed to be Canelo, brother.
Very
You're not
close
fighting like
round with
Canelo.
10 seconds to go.
I didn't even do that. I think I won that round. That's just me.
As bad as boxing judging
But
can be sometimes,
they tend to
there's
not
no
like to give
doubt
your boy
who won
rounds.
that round.
As long as they don't get
Sometimes,
complacent.
if they're anywhere near close. Nah, but I think I got
On
that.
to the
Let's
second
go.
round. Coming off that
We
fantastic
need Canelo to take some
last
chances,
round.
man. Start
Let's see if
doing
he
our
can keep his
counter-punching.
momentum going.
Okay. There we go. All right, good. Body shots, get off right there.
This counter puncher is going to wait for you to move first and then will strike like a snake. Keep an eye on this guy.
To beat a counter puncher, you've got to take them out of their pace. Do not wait for them, because if you wait, they'll pepper and pop you all night long. Rush them.
I'm getting greedy there. I got greedy there. I didn't need to stay in for a 4-punch combo. It's the second round.
Hit him with the left jab. That left
Straight
counter
left
was
hand counter.
perfectly
Straight left hand
timed.
counter.
Good
Counter
counter
to the
right-handed
body.
kick.
Oops, I didn't even jump in. There we go.
He missed with that jab.
What am I doing?
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. A counter fighter relies a lot on their instincts and reaction time. You've got to get in there quick to punch your opponent before he gets his fist back to block.
They have got great ring IQ. Counter punches are the best. Reaction is second to none. It's a blink of an eye, and they're waiting for any little twitch you do. So you've got to fight a counter puncher smart.
Nice counter punch. Either man really defending themselves. He just misses with that jab. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one.
Close round. I didn't like how I finished the round. I fought better in the first half of that
At this point,
round.
you got to believe he can't win.
Fought
the
much better in the
scorecards,
first
gonna
half of
need
that
a
round.
knockout.
Every second, every minute.
On to the third. Safe to say that last round was a nightmare. Let's see if we can turn it around here.
Now he knows he's been hurt. He's going to come out and put the pressure on. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at you. You've got to be ready for that. Don't
Miss.
fight fire with fire.
Miss.
Hold him
Make
up.
him
Be
make shots.
smart, because he's going to try and
Jab
put
in.
you under pressure. He knows your legs have gone. He knows your
got
head's
those
not
jabs.
cleared.
That's all right.
Be sharp.
Ooh.
Not a lot of punch output. Thought there might be more action here. No rest for the weary. misses with that jab.
Got him.
Some nice exchanges from both men.
No, don't get frustrated. Don't get
Nice
frustrated. Let him run
exchange
around
here
with
from both
Canelo if
men.
he wants. You got
Totally
can't bitch.
impressed.
You got to
know
problem
what? You
solve.
got skill. You got. Oh my goodness. I admire these guys.
Both of these men showing exceptional chins, by the way.
Jabbing in, sequence right there.
Neither man really defending themselves.
So fuck it. I'll try to do that inside move a little bit.
You can tell he's stronger, but he's not faster.
This guy's
round
fighting a
can go either
frustrating
way.
fight.
10 seconds to
Not
go.
really trying to engage that much. Alright, little frustrating, chat.
I promise you, all three judges here are going to give that round to you-know-who.
You can't
To you
leave
know
it
who.
up to the judges. It's up to you as a fighter and a corner.
Back at it,
What is
round
it?
4.
Oh, I'm up 2-1, chat. They're
Doubt
actually
who won
scoring
that
the fight
last round.
correctly.
Let's
So I
see
don't
what
have to
he has
get
for
I don't
us
have to
here
get
in the next
irritated and start reaching with power shots. I can just keep doing what I'm doing. They're actually scoring the fight correctly.
Counter left. One of these fighters is
If they just
starting
score
to
the
run
fight
out of
correctly
gas.
and the dude
What
has
do
to
you
start
do as
taking
a
more
fighter
chances,
when
then
you
I can
just
really do
don't
my
have the
thing.
energy?
What can they change? They can change their attitude. They can change their nervous system. Throw a certain amount of punches per round. Because otherwise, if they deviate from the game plan, they're going to be shattered once again and the fight will be over.
He parries away that left hook. Good counter punching
Let's
from both
go.
these fighters.
Got
Beautiful
greedy. I got
counter
greedy.
shot.
That last sequence I didn't need. I got what I
Can you
needed. That shit
believe
kept
what we're
doing.
seeing?
It's alright. Place that power straight on.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Yes.
And just as quickly as it slows down, it heats back up.
You cannot ever compare anything to this.
They need to reach
These
the jab.
guys
Oh,
really
body
mean
shot
it.
by
These
Canelo. Let me get
guys
that back.
hate each other the way they're fighting.
How much confidence do you build when your opponents hit you with their best shot and you walk right through it?
This is when you get in the ring feeling like you're King Kong because you know you've got a chin that is not going to get dented.
Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one.
I think we got that round, chat.
Well, this is the time that the trainer needs to come in and say something special. This
Jab will
fighter
win this
needs
fight.
to
He wants
turn
to
the
close. He
tables
wants
this
in
next
close, aggressive,
Sometimes
patience.
it couldn't be the
Got you,
sweetest
Blind
sound.
Faith. So Blind Faith, you saying stay aggressive but patient behind the jab?
Things are starting to heat up now as we
Charles
go to the
N,
fifth.
man, it's
Safe
a
to say
difficult
that
style,
last
Charles
round
N. We're
was
gonna
a
get the
nightmare.
win. He's got a good
Let's see if
record,
we can
brother.
turn
Come
it
on, man.
around here.
This is one of those situations. You've just been hurt. You've got to get out there again. Be smart. Be sharp. Don't be a fool. Don't get suckered in. Make him fight your fight. Hold him,
I'll
tie
stick
him
with
up
that
just
jab.
until your head clears again and your legs come back again. Because if you don't, he's going to pop you
Stick
off.
with it.
Both men step back for just a moment. Neither fighter willing to sit down on these punches. They're arm punches. They're scoring, but they're not going to hurt anybody.
Oh, you saw the
that
counter.
lands. I think it's safe to say one of these fighters certainly has a significant speed advantage. You can tell who it is.
When you've got a fast fighter, they will cut you to ribbons, and they know it's a matter of time before either you get desperate or the referee jumps in and saves you. This is a natural gift.
Can they figure out the combination to this safe?
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
Adrian Wells hit me with the super chat. What are the 3 things we learned last night? Not letting us get off easy. Holding us to the title. Learned a lot more than 3 things.
Not a lot of punch out.
One of the big takeaways
more action here.
Is that counterpunching is a motherfucker. Is one of my big takeaways from this fight, and I preached it in the lead up to the fight. Counterpunching's it's a sophisticated, high level of boxing, and the best fighters, for the most part, they can counterpunch. So that's one thing we learned. Counterpunching is a motherfucker. Second thing we learned, Crawford is an all-time great. Is definitely the second thing we learned. And the third thing we learned, maybe being protected for Spence wasn't the best thing. Well, not protected, but maybe Spence would have been better off fighting Crawford a couple years ago.
Let's see if he can keep his momentum going.
He never would have beaten Crawford, but he may have been able to give a better account of himself.
When are we going to see a jab?
And even though Spence prided himself on how they maximized the value in this fight made more money than it would have a couple years ago. But maybe he should have done it when he was in his 20s at the peak of his powers, so that it would have been a better fight.
Their feathers, Todd. You cannot let them get comfortable, drag them, get them complaining to the referee, because once somebody with excellent foot speed
and so the lesson more there is
the fight is over.
Sometimes don't just consider the business side. Remember, you're a fighter. You're a fighter just as much as you are a businessman. If not, you're a fighter first and then a businessman. And
through the hook,
you got to get that smoke. When people are saying the other guy in your division is better than you, you got to say, you know what, the business be damned a little bit. I got to see this guy.
Big shots from both these fighters.
I'm the best.
Got to be careful,
and
though.
If Spence would have done that sooner, it might have went a little bit better for him, even though I think Crawford would have always won this fight. But all right, let me get back to focusing. Thanks, Adrian. Kind of got me off my game.
Stamina is so important for these two fighters because it allows them to use their skills throughout the match. It can all come down to who's in better shape.
Let's go. You want to give me something to counterfight with?
Absolutely shattered. What gets you through? Willpower. Calm, because if you panic, you get desperate. If you get desperate, you make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you get knocked out.
A very competitive round with 10 seconds left.
Oh, damn. I stayed in there too long. He got some of the body shots off. All right.
From this moment forward, he cannot afford to lose another round.
Mello working? Damn, don't say that. All right, let's see what the score is now. Let me refocus. It's all even halfway through the fight. I really wasted stamina poorly those last 2 rounds.
1 minute to recover. Now they've got to bluff it.
But let's get to it. Oh, he quit, chat. That's a dub.
He quit. Official now, and that is
he quit, chat. So 22 Sky. Much love, brother, but
I agree.
Mello wasn't working. He quit. We were putting water in the basement.
I look forward to fight number 2.
What's up, Marvelous Irv? Much love, Marvelous Irv. All 3 judges had it even. I outlanded him in counter punches 9-1. I landed, I was getting to the body. His stamina was worse than mine. He was at 73% stamina. I still had 86%. So those body shots were starting to make Canelo tired. And yeah, he quits, and that's a win. That is a win. He quit on his stool, chat. Man had a good record, but to the winner's can we go. All right, let's get more in. Let's get another one in because that wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. We got the win, but that wasn't the best. All right. Let's get some more butt in. PKG IMF said, "Do you think plastic surgery could have played a part in why it looked bad so early?" I do. I don't think that's what. That's what I mean. I don't think before the car accident, his face would have gotten like that as early as it did. So again, you know, in life, when you make choices, right, there's a pro and there's a con, right? And so the pro was he made more money than he ever would have. Yes, we get an easy fight. I can look good for you guys. So the pro was he made a lot more money going the smart business route, but the con was he gave himself a worse and worse competitive edge heading into the fight. You know, so the longer it went, the longer he had to make 147. The car accident happens. You know, not being able to be as active, and so that all continued to diminish his chances in a fight he would have always been an underdog in. So, you know, again, the pro is the man made more money than he would have taking on the Crawford fight 4 or 5 years ago. So, you know, that's life. That's life.
How will these two? So here we go. Should be a good one. These two fighters are made for one another.
Yay. Let's go, chat. Let's look beautiful in this fight. Let's counter punch and get a KO.
Both of these men showing exceptional chins, by the way. Defending themselves. Perfect counter shot. Well, I hope you brought your sunglasses because we're fighting outside, and what a main event this should be.
In such heat, the cornermen need to be able to do their job. Think about what they're doing. Want to cool you down.
We're catching our shots good early.
Want
we'll
to
start
give
getting
instructions in your head, and want to just calm you to tell
Once he
you
gets,
what to do,
he's
right?
wasting a lot of
Wrong.
shots.
Because that's the most important thing. Forget about the heat. Forget about everything else.
Some nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Perfectly matched. Skill for skill. Tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I got to respect both of them. More than happy.
We're going to start getting those counters in, man. Man, he is wasting all his stamina in round one.
Nice exchange here from both men. That left counter was perfectly timed. You can tell he's stronger, but he's not faster. Nice counter shot with the right. This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go. Good counter left hand there. Nice
that was a pretty nice defensive round. I caught basically
everything.
everything.
No secret who has the advantage after that last round. Let's see what
oh man, Blind Fate, thank you for the super chat, brother. Hagler Monzone, I'm gonna go Hagler. He had a little bit better jab, and he had that southpaw stance, and he could move around and box when he needed to against aggressive guys like Mugabe or Carlos Monzon. So I'd give the edge to Marvin Hagler over Carlos Monzon. Ward and Hopkins. Hopkins competed in those divisions in his 40s. So the Hopkins that in his 40s, you know, against Ward that won the Super 6 and beat Kovalev in the rematch, I'd favor Ward. But in a hypothetical scenario where Bernard moves up to 68 in his late 30s after the Trinidad fight, instead of sticking around and sucking down to 60 for so long for the De La Hoya fight and the Jermaine Taylor fights, I think, you know, maybe Bernard would have got it done in that time frame. But the Bernard that did become champion at light heavyweight against Ward, I'd have favored Ward. Even though I think Hopkins is a greater all-time fighter than Andre Ward.
Punch, counter punch.
And then I'll get to the other ones in a second.
For you to move first, and then we'll strike like a snake. Keep an eye on this
guy.
They have got great ring IQ. Counter punches are the best.
You just whip this ass real quick. Bop. 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 Oh no.
Nice job landing that left counter punch.
Bop.
Blocks the jab.
Wait. Stop.
Both men step back for just a moment.
Stop. To the bottom. Okay.
Through the hook, didn't land.
Where you going, Canelo? You getting tired?
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. A counter fighter relies a lot on their instincts and reaction time. You've got to get in there quick to punch your opponent before he gets his fist back to block.
To beat a counter puncher, you've got to take them out of their place. Do not wait for them, because if you wait, they'll pepper and pop you all night long. Rush them. Counter puncher is my favorite kind of fighter. A good counter puncher, they're the people that make the history of our sport.
Good counter punching. And shoot. You can't score with that uppercut. Very close round with 10 seconds to go.
Getting off. Oh, okay. Got one more. Bam. Counter coming. Oh, we're starting to get him, chat. All right. Okay, so back to the Arguello versus Juan Manuel Marquez.
Looks so easy.
No. Man. Arguello at lightweight and at 130. Marquez maybe at 140, but I'll give the edge to Arguello. Very disciplined with his distance control. Great puncher. The jab and everything. Could really hold his own in the exchanges. Had a great left hook in the exchanges to go, of course, with the 1-2 at his height. Yeah. I give the edge to Arguello, even though it'd be a war. Arguello over Marquez. Pac-Man versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Pac-Man with no... I mean, Pac-Man might have had some problems with him at 130 or 135. Pac-Man, I just think Pacquiao was better. His speed and movement and combinations would have been enough. And he had the power in the left hand to keep Chavez off. Even as great as Chavez was with his chin and everything, I think the left hand even would have got his respect enough and hurt him enough to get Manny the job done. And then Willie Pep versus Lomachenko. Ooh, that's tough to say. I mean, Lomachenko's a better puncher than Willie Pep was.
He misses with that jab.
Willie Pep had some of the greatest legs ever. So, I mean, Lomachenko has great feet, too.
I don't think it's going to be
I think Lomachenko, too, though, got all the way up to 35. And I don't think Willie Pep, I think, just stayed at featherweight, was a champion at featherweight. I don't think he was ever lightweight champion. So Lomachenko might be a little bit bigger, a little bit better puncher. But I'm Italian, so the answer is ultimately Willie Pep.
Lands with the right counter.
Alright, let's get to work, chat. Let's get to work.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. Got out of the way that right hook.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. Just like a match made in heaven.
Both know who the bigger power puncher is. There's a significant power difference. How would you handle that?
Todd, we know one of these fights can knock you out with a simple jab. They're that powerful.
That left counter punch will score. And he misses with that jab.
Jab there a little bit. I'm going to get him with that right hook, Chad.
Missed him with that uppercut. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one.
You know his stamina is like already shot. Like probably already half gone. Okay, and then Ray Leonard versus Floyd. I got Ray Leonard because Floyd started at 130 and, you know, topped out at 47 and 54. Ray Leonard started at 47 and got all the way up to 68, knocked out a light heavyweight in Donnie Lalonde. So Leonard had the power to knock out super middleweights and light heavyweights, and then had the hand speed and the jab and the toughness to walk through Floyd's counters and Floyd's sharp punches and speed. And I think eventually, while losing rounds, cracked the defense, and I think he could have knocked Floyd out at some point. I'd have picked Ray Leonard over Floyd. Bigger guy. If Floyd was a natural 147 like Ray, maybe a different story. Maybe you favor Floyd Mayweather. But with Ray being able...
There's no doubt about who won that last round.
Did he quit,
Let's
chat?
see what he has for us here in the next round.
He's still fighting.
We've seen in the past from this fighter, they don't get concerned when they lose some of the earlier rounds because they know they've got that power.
Just let him waste all his stamina already.
That power might be the do or die. That power might be the equalizer.
Nice counter punch.
Try to pull him again. Bam! Uppercut again.
Landing that left counter. He misses with that jab. He fails to score with that left hook. Some nice exchanges from both men in this round. He parries that left jab away.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them?
That's how
it's
you
going to
work.
be a hard night tonight for the judges.
He's not liking those body shots.
One of the best attributes to have in boxing
like it, Chad.
has nothing to do
He
with
doesn't like the body
it's
shots.
how well you can take a punch to the face.
The problem with having a chin
Okay,
that
good shots
everybody
by Canelo
knows
there.
if they
Good
hit
shots by
you,
Canelo.
you're hurt, you're gone. You've got to protect that, but you've also got to get your shot.
Bam! Straight left hand counter.
You can bang too.
Oh, give me that hook. And then straight left hand again. Straight left hand again. Straight left hand. Straight left hand. Hook.
Despite what the judges
It was
scorecard
surgical.
say, there are no losers in this one.
Bam, bam.
Right. Nice counter shot.
You see it, chat. The straight left hand is money.
What would you tell this guy? He's got
Straight left hand is money.
Wow, it's like two different leagues.
All right, let's go. You heading out, Marvelous Herb? Is this on Xbox yet? No, not yet. Not yet, Marvelous. I can't wait, though, till it is. Chiquian, you don't think Charlo's food for bud? Who you got in that fight, Chiquian? Matteo Pantagelli, Paisan. It's undisputed on PC,
round was
brother.
a nightmare. Let's see if we can turn it around here.
All right, let's get. We're gonna get something sexy. We're gonna get a sexy counter shot in at some point. Boom, like that. Like that.
Hold him off. Be smart because he's gonna try and put
I want to get a flashy knockdown at some point off a beautiful counter, something nice.
They exchange punches. And a
Straight
counter
left hand.
left. Still waiting for this fighter
Straight
to
left
show
hand.
some defensive ability. And he just missed with that left jab.
He's having fun jabbing for a second jab.
You can tell he's stronger, but he's not faster. Big shots from both these fighters. Got to be careful, though.
Very close match. It shows the skill, the discipline, the respect both fighters have for each other because no one
Watch this
dare
hook to the body.
do anything out of turn.
Oh, wait. Plant one in there. God. They did give him the Terence Crawford
There's
right
no
hook to
doubt
the body.
that this
That's
fighter's
dope.
power can
Oh,
change
wow,
the
he really
fighter's
does. You see
in an
that?
instant.
Damn, he really throws it like Crawford
To
does.
make one single minor mistake.
That's dope.
Just when you get in there with someone that's bigger, stronger, and faster, you've just got to use
That's dope.
brain.
When you do the power modifier, he actually kind of does an animation like Terence Crawford. That kind of looks like this hook to the body.
Watch that jab. This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go. Good counter right hand again.
Now we're doing our thing, chat.
Well, we know they've got the advantage so far, but how does this match get turned around?
Boxing King says the game ain't really accurate on how the fighters fight. It is if you got two people who know what they're doing, and you're not facing guys who are using Canelo and switching to the loose stance modifier and running around the ring. I could play just like Canelo in this game. Canelo has some of the best lifelike animations if you actually use him the way he's supposed to fight in the game.
The bell to start round 6.
But yeah, the game still could use
fantastic
work.
last round. Let's see if he can keep his momentum going.
I am happy we got a new boxing game though.
Good counter punching from both these fighters. Big shots from both of these fighters. Got to be careful though. Nice job by him to block that jab. How much confidence do you build when your opponents hit you with their best shot and you walk right through it?
Because you've got a good chin doesn't mean you've got leather skin. It means you can still get caught. So you've got to go for those point areas over the eyebrow, the cheekbone. You just got to try and cut them, skim and go for speed.
Some nice exchanges from both men in this round. He just misses with that jab. Nice counter. He missed with that jab. You can tell he's stronger, but he's not
my best
faster.
round right now.
Beautiful counter.
There we go. Oh my! No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, that didn't just happen. No, that didn't just fucking happen.
So it's onward
No,
and
that
upward
didn't
for
just
another
fucking happen.
knockout win here.
That is going to be one of
Oh
those
my
what
gosh.
happened next shots. Where did it come from?
Chat.
How did he land? He didn't get knocked down.
No, that didn't just happen.
I mean, out.
No, that didn't. What the hell just happened? What the hell just happened? We were out. He had 50% stamina. We outlanded him 26-2 in counter punches. And he lands the fuck this game. He lands the one punch bullshit ass. Wow. 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 Chat, what in the hell is happening to your boy? To the loser's cam. What am I? What chat? Do I? This is humiliating. This is humiliating. Do I even? Damn it! All right. That was gonna be the last fight, and now I have to fight one more time because I just can't. I can't go out like that. I can't go out like that. I'm sorry. I have to play one more time. I'm humiliated. I'm humiliated. Damn.
I'm Todd Grisham, and not a bad day for a fight. We are live at the Empire Fight Camp. Alongside me, Johnny
Oh, great.
Nelson.
I got to fight
pleasure's
Sugar Ray
always mine,
Robinson
my
with
friend.
30 wins and
It's
5
time
losses.
for our
All right. Come on, chat. I can't go out like
Robinson,
that.
one of the most skilled
I was whooping his
boxers
ass,
to ever
Hoda.
lace
We were
up the
countering
gloves.
him, beating
Inducted
shit out of
into
him, and then
International
just
Boxing
one
Hall of Fame in
left
1990,
uppercut.
And he fights
That
out
was
of
it.
Harlem, New York.
Look at this. These fighters are so up.
Spin the block, Sean. Exactly. I'm spinning the block,
Fighters are
line
ready to
fake.
go. Let's hear the official introductions. We turn it over to the classy.
I thought, we were fighting relatively well as it was going, but damn.
Fighting out of the...
And of course, we fight
Trash. That was the
outside
most
today,
trash
Johnny.
moment of my career.
You can't imagine how bad these fighters want to get their hands on each other.
Yeah, I'll start orthodox a little bit, keep it a little basic to start, and then we'll switch southpaw as it goes on.
And he misses with that jab. Hit him with the left jab. Both men step back for just a moment.
Two disciplined fighters starting with our jab.
Well, I hope you brought your sunscreen. You're going to need it as we have our main event.
First left hook counter.
Bright sunny sky.
So Todd,
Tried
let
it
me
again.
explain to you.
Oh,
You're
then I got
outside.
countered.
Nobody can turn
He
the
knew that shit
temperatures
was
down.
coming.
Nobody can turn the sun down. When that sun's
Some
beating
good
on
boxing
you,
here.
when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're getting hit, when you're getting hurt, there's no cool fan that's dropping in there. This is where it's real fighting, fighter on fight.
Some nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Very close match. It shows the skill, the discipline, the respect both fighters have for each other because no one dare do anything out of turn.
Trying to get off there a little bit.
Not a lot of punch output. Thought there would be some more action here. Neither fighter willing to sit down on these punches. They're arm punches. They're scoring, but they're not going to hurt anybody. Very close round with 10 seconds to go.
Think we got that round. Got a couple hooks in there.
They got the advantage. How do they carry that into the next round?
Dominance, without a doubt, made it look so easy.
Boxing King said, I bet bro mad because he wanted Spence to win. Can someone let Boxing King what my on-the-record 5 million time prediction was? It was, you could check the LA Times, you could check FightHype Live. It was Crawford by knockout because of counter punches, Boxing King. So, enjoy the stream, brother.
Well, we've just taken a big breath, and here we go again. Coming off that fantastic last round. Let's see if he can keep his momentum going.
Enjoy the undisputed game.
There's a counter shot.
As I try to rectify an awful wrong that was just done to me in my last fight.
This counter puncher is going to wait for you to move first, and then will strike like a snake. Keep an eye on this guy.
They have got great ring IQ. Counter punches are the best.
Catch and
good
shoot.
job.
He blocks the uppercut. You'd like to see more jabs. Nice counter.
Good shots there.
And he just misses with that jab. Nice offensive display, landing.
I'm pissed off, chat. I want some get back. I'm pissed. I'm fighting now. Now I'm really fighting.
Counter fighter relies a lot on their instincts.
Now you see in the real shot, the SZ. Like when Roy Jones would become RJ.
Before he gets his fist back to block.
Todd, I understand what you're saying, but you've got to be honest. You've got to be on it. You've got to be a pro. You've got to think light, concentrate.
Okay.
Where's the accuracy? You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one.
Go.
Like
oh, my bad, Boxing King. Damn, Boxing King, I always do that. I always wind up doing it. I always wind up reading the chat and thinking someone's talking to me and they're talking to someone else in the chat. Sorry, Boxing. Best gyms in Vegas, Marvelous Irv. I trained at Barry's Boxing Gym in my short-lived amateur career. They're very good for if you're young, if you're taking a kid. I would take them to probably Barry's Boxing. DLX Boxing is a good spot up here. City Athletic Boxing is right by the strip behind Fashion Show Mall. A lot of champions have trained there. Mayweather Boxing Club's good too, always. And then The pound for pound gym. Salas, Ismail Salas has his gym on Sahara Jones, and right across from him is Real Boxing, which is a solid gym.
This is one of those situations. You've just been hurt. You've got to get out there again. Be smart.
And then Bones Adams has, this makeshift gym in his backyard that a lot of champions train at.
Your head clears again and your legs come back again. Because if you don't, he's going to pop you off.
You need to get back, chat. You need it in a real way.
He misses with that jab.
Bam!
Score with that left hand.
I appreciate that this guy's not running. He's not trying to stake the fight out.
When you think the pace will slow down, it picks up. Good counter punching for both these athletes. Nice exchanges from both men in this round. He misses with that jab.
Perfectly matched. Skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I got to respect both of them more than that.
Bam! Got it. Catch and shoot. I'm killing him off that catch and shoot off the hook.
And he fails to score with that left hook. Good left counter that lands. That left counter was perfectly timed. And then step back for just a moment. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one. Well, he is glad to have
Deshaun still have that gym right there by Circus in that 7-Eleven. No, low-key flex. They sold that. It was the Porter High Performance Center. They sold that years ago. And that used to be Devin Haney, Bill Haney's gym, the heavy hitters, or the heavy, what was it? The Hit Factory. The Hit Factory. Am I covering the AJ rematch? Yes, Marvelous Serve. I'll do a live round by round for that. For sure. You talking about City Athletic Boxing? Low-key, yeah. Oh, TG Boogie. Yeah. I mean, we were getting too hot of water with a big pay-per-view like that. They don't want us doing, live round by round.
Safe to say that last round was a nightmare. Let's see if we can turn it around.
But for fights where you don't have like Fury and Gano, I'll be able to do that.
He's gonna throw the kitchen sink at you. You got to be ready for that.
Won't be able to do Canelo and Charlo. Basically, everything else with Canelo and Charlo coming up, I'll be able to do a live round.
He knows your legs have gone. He knows your head's not cleared. Be sharp.
Seen all the famous boxing movies, the training scenes, the gym work. That's what it all boils down to. Who's going to have more endurance?
Now you've got two fighters that are absolutely shattered. What gets you through? Willpower. Calm, because if you panic, you get desperate. If you get desperate, you make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you get knocked out.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. Not a lot of punch output. Thought there might be more action here.
Hard, we've seen much more, much better. We've been spoiled. I'm not being unfair. I'm not being unfair saying it's a little boring. It's not boring. We've probably just been spoiled.
I really been liking that hook, that counter hook.
You can tell he's stronger, but he's not faster.
That body a little bit. Yep.
He prevents that left uppercut from scoring.
Yep. That's good body work. We'll take that. Jab in the body.
He's going to keep his elbows tucked into the chest so he can avoid the pain of those very close round with 10 seconds to go.
That's how you finish to the body, baby. That's how you finish to the body, baby.
He is down big time on the scores.
Wow, it's like two different leagues.
If Floyd's not in this game, I'm not buying it. Dallas, Troy. Yeah, Floyd, Floyd probably cost a shit ton of money, so it's hard for them to get him in there.
Things are starting to heat up now as we enter the 5th. Let's see how they bounce back here in this round.
They've had 1 minute to recover. Now they've got to
Let's win this fight, chat. I have to redeem myself. I have to. After that debacle against the bum.
Rest on the jab. Be smart and pop until your legs.
Maybe I should have fought with more urgency against that. Even though we were in control of the fight. 26-2 in counters. And we couldn't buzz them. Canelo got that grand chin.
You've heard the phrase, finding a second win. I don't think I need to tell you which one of these fighters needs to find it.
What can they change? They can change their attitude. They can change their nervous system for a certain amount of punches per round. Because otherwise, if they deviate from the game plan, they're going to be shattered once again.
Trying to
and
sit
the
on
fight
that
will be
hook
over.
at times.
Nice punch.
He's starting not to want to stand in there as much now.
Can they figure out the combination to this safe? He gets out of the way of that left hand. That left-handed jab doesn't
He's wasting a lot of shots, though. I know our stamina's got to be much better than his now.
One of the best attributes to have in boxing has nothing to do with boxing. It's how well you can take a punch to the face.
What a gift. What a gift it is to have a chin where you know you can walk through anything and everything. When you let those shots go and it's just bouncing off and they're walking you down.
Wasting his shots, chat. We're letting him shoot off a little bit here.
What else can you do?
Let's get to it.
This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go.
Boom! Right uppercut, left hook. Ooh. That's how we do it.
The game plan does not seem to be...
That's how we do it. All right.
On to the 6th round. Let's see if they have a plan B after last round.
Sorry about jabbing a little bit.
Carries away that left hook. Neither man really defending themselves. I think it's safe to say one of these fighters certainly has a significant speed advantage. You can tell who it is.
When you have a fight that's
I love
got
how Todd
great
Grisham can never
footwork,
specify
great
who he's
hand
talking
speed,
about in commentary.
it's so hard. It's an uphill battle.
Jab slightly off target.
Good jab. I'm sitting on that hook too much right now. But I got it that time. Got it that time.
You believe what we are seeing. Nice job landing with that right hand counter.
I got greedy, being greedy with the hook at times.
Power is obviously the great equalizer in boxing, but when you know your opponent is relying on that so heavily, how do you deal with it?
I've seen certain fighters that can depend on just their power alone. Forget tactics. They know the second they touch you, it's done. That's where the confidence comes from.
Jab does not score. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one.
All right. Gotta do better.
He's in big trouble here.
Sean showing the ring rust. Come on, Irv.
Round 7.
It's even fight, chat. Even fight. Let's encourage me here. Oh, you know what? It's time to switch southpaw.
Now you've got to make sure he doesn't put it on you, and that's what he's going to try and do. So time up, hold him, lean on him. Don't get drawn into a fight. Not yet. Not until your senses have come back.
Good counter right hand again. Punch scores. We both know who the bigger power puncher is. There's a significant power difference. How would you handle that?
It's the one who draws first blood, Todd. That's what you've got to look at. If you hit and you know you're in there with a banger, you've got to be on it, but you've got to be confident.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. The jab doesn't quite connect.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
Got him.
Counter left hand there. And he just missed with that left jab. You've seen all the famous boxing movies, the training scenes, the gym work. That's what it all boils down to. Who's going to have more endurance?
Midway through the fight, if you are tired, this can be the loneliest place in the world. If you cheated, now we're going to find out.
This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go. Nice counter shot. Beautiful
I
counter
got counter
shot.
twice, getting reckless with my combinations. It's close.
Well, there was
This is
no
a close
doubt
fight,
about
Chad.
who won that round.
We're down to just 400 people. We went from
There's the
3,000
bell
to
for round
400.
eight. Coming off that fantastic
They slowly
last
left. They
round.
said, "What
Let's
is
see if we
this
keep the
bullshit?"
momentum going.
But the 400 of you still here are here to see me redeem myself. You're the real supporters of Fight Hype Live.
Nice exchange here from both men.
Okay. Let's get sharp.
Nice job by him to block that jab. Neither man really defending themselves. The old adage is no matter how much speed you've got, timing beats speed.
What you've got to do, Toddy, is anticipation. You've got to wait. You just got to throw caution to the wind and just hope. You're never going to know where the shots are coming from. You just got to put in the gets.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round. He takes that jab.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. Just like a match made in heaven.
Both men step back for just a moment. You couldn't write a script like this. This is like Rocky versus Apollo.
No, I got some good shots in. Let him.
That right jab just misses.
Down the stretch of the round. Let's see if I can walk him in.
This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go. Nice
Got him.
counter shot with the right hand.
Nice counter uppercut there.
Well, we're entering desperation mode here.
Grind don't stop, Sean. That's right, Blind Fade. We'll keep
We
going.
enter the
All right,
night.
switch back.
Safe to say that
Keep it
last
tight.
round was a nightmare.
And then if we
Let's
get
see
a
if we can
lead,
turn it around here.
we can turn southpaw later in the round. You get a lead in the round, then we could walk him into shots maybe.
Don't let this fighter's speed fool you. There's some method to the madness. These are precision shots, and they're coming at lightning speed.
Some fighters are just gifted with such hand speed, footwork, movement. They are gifted. They are the chosen few.
Left punch. Can't land that jab.
Beautiful. We'll take that.
This fighter's certainly not going to outthrow their opponent by any means, but they will, when they hit, be a lot harder.
Sometimes when you get in there with someone that's so powerful, you've got to outthink him. You've just got to be smarter than him. You've got to be like a little Fagin and pickpocket him.
Some nice exchanges from both men in this round. That punch landed.
All right.
Both men step back for just a moment.
Oh. Oh, I was just off with a hook in that exchange. That really would have got him.
That jab won't score. A very competitive round with 10 seconds left.
Catching everything. Oh, gave him that. Come on, game. He just started throwing shit. Sean down on the cards, marvelous. You think so? I definitely won the round before that. No, see, I'm up a point. I'm up a point. I'm up a point. It's a close fight.
Let's see what he has for us here in the next one. Nice counter shot.
Those, I'm getting landing the bigger shots. He's just throwing a lot at times.
One of the best attributes to have in boxing has nothing to do with boxing. It's how well you can take a punch to the face.
Because you've got a good chin doesn't mean you've got leather skin. It means you can still get caught. So you've got to go for those point areas over the eyebrow, the cheekbone. You've just got to try and cut them, skim and go for speed.
How much confidence do you build when your opponents hit you with their best shot and you walked right through? Great counter right hand there. Through the hook, didn't land. Good counter punching from both
right hand
fighters.
counter, left hook counter.
Exchanges from both
right
men in
hand
this round. Nice counter punch.
Reach with that uppercut to the body.
And this is with the jab. Fighter is not interested in throwing one shot at a time. They throw combinations and they throw them non-stop.
This can be so frustrating when you're in such a fast fighter that can throw 3-4 shot combinations before you've even let one off. That creates frustration, and that's when it gets hard.
Nope, that jab. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one.
That's how we do it, chat. We got that round. We got that round. We got that round, chat.
That seemed like an eternity.
See how we're playing chess, marvelous. Yep.
Every second.
Here we go in the championship rounds, round 11. Let's see if they have a plan B after last round. Big left there, but misses. You're a power puncher. You're not as concerned with how many punches you throw. It's about how many you land and how hard they are.
Todd, we know one of these fighters can knock you out with a simple jab. They're that powerful.
Neither man really defending themselves.
How is that? Straight right hand.
Nice idea with the jab, but does not land. That counter shot lands.
Yep. Straight right hands.
This with that jab.
Straight right hand. So set up the hook.
The old adage is no matter how much speed you've got, timing beats speed.
When you've got a fast fighter, they will cut you to ribbons, and they know it's a matter of time before either you get desperate or the referee jumps in and saves you. This is a natural gift.
Watch that jab. This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go.
Still think we're getting them in these exchanges, chat. Close, competitive fight, but I'm getting the better of it. I'm getting this.
I promise you, all three judges.
Last round, chat. Last round.
And there's the bell to start round 12. Coming off that fantastic last round, let's see if he can keep his momentum going. Hands with the right counter.
I'll get it back.
Jab misses. Power is obviously the great equalizer in boxing, but when you know your opponent is relying on that so heavily, how do you deal with it?
That power might be the do or die. That power might be the equalizer.
Nice job landing that left counter punch. A lot of swinging and missing. Got his gloves up to block the left jab. These two are the perfect dance partners.
I gotta tighten up in this last minute and a half.
This fighter has determined that they can walk through any punches that their opponent throws, and that's a very confident spot to be in.
The problem with having a chin that
so
everybody knows if they hit you, you're hurt, you're gone. You've got to protect that, but you've also got to get your shots off. And they forget, you can bang too.
Come on, that straight right hand gotta take us home. Straight right hand, left hook.
He blocks the hook. Missed him with that uppercut. Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there
That's
are
right,
no
baby.
losers in this one.
Oh, what the hell happened? Come on. What did he even hit me with?
That's about as close as you can get a majority decision win.
I didn't think it was going to be that close. I really didn't.
Because of a desync, because of a punch that didn't land in the last round. Oh, forget it. I should have quit. Should have quit out. I should have known it wasn't my day after the Canelo thing. Damn. Well, the judges, they were lying. He threw 1,142 punches. Somehow didn't get tired. I had to block 384. Anyways, your boy has not been good at Undisputed this month. I gotta tighten up. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining today. I gotta tighten up on Undisputed, but Crawford wins, becomes the Undisputed Welterweight Champ. Thanks everybody for joining today and for enjoying the coverage on FightHype all week long. I'll be back in action August 12th covering Valdez and Navarrete, and I'll be continuing to try to get more interviews between now and then. And what else? Let me take a quick look. Let's take a quick look, chat, at let's take a quick look at the old ESPN.com/boxing schedule. Make sure. It's been such a crazy week trying to remember. Okay, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. I will sell out. I will do a live round by round of Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. I might be in Tahoe, California for that, but I will do a live round by round for Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. I'll be in Glendale, Arizona, August 12th to cover Navarrete versus Valdez. Obviously, we'll do a round by round on this night for Beterbiev and Callum Smith. We'll do a round by round on this night for Usyk and Dubois. And I'll be in attendance, of course, here in Las Vegas for the big one, September 30th, Canelo versus Charlo. So, join us for Fight Week coverage all week like we did this past week for Crawford'S Spence. And I'll be in Las Vegas. Obviously, I live here. I'll be covering Devin Haney ringside against Regis Prograis when Devin will be fighting for, even though I don't know if that fight's actually fully agreed to yet. But should it happen, I'll be there ringside. And since they'll be fighting on two different parts of the planet that day, I should be able to do a live round by round of Fury versus Ngannou earlier in the day, and then be there ringside for Haney versus Prograis later on. So keep it locked in here on FightHype. Had a great time with you guys. Not gonna lie, kind of ended on a down note, losing these Undisputed matches, but everyone have a great rest of your weekend, And God bless all of you. Thank everybody in the chat. And have a great rest of the time. I'm sorry I lost, but hey, see ya. Catch you guys later.